What the hell's going on, guys? So I recently had a comment in my most recent video, which I will put on the upper right-hand part of the screen, so you can click and watch that if you feel like it. But they asked if I could walk through my spreadsheet. So they really enjoyed my spreadsheet, and I'll put a link in the description down below for Google Shared Drive if you guys want to download it. But basically, they just wanted to know what I do for my spreadsheet and how it's really connected to everything. So this beginning opening part of the spreadsheet is basically just the portfolio. You can update everything, keep track of everything: company name, dividend yield, yield on cost, payout ratio, shares now versus how many shares you originally bought. If you do dividend reinvestments, that we can calculate your yield on cost. Price per share now, your cost basis of what you originally bought your money for, the value, what the stock is currently, your return, which is kind of important if you do dividend reinvestment, might be a little skewed just based off of your cost basis. So I calculate it as if there is no cost basis for my reinvested dividends, so my percentages get a little bit better. My forward annual payout, the sector, which is important because I'll show you in a minute. Then there's some PE stuff, so basically anything past the column P, I don't really update too much. So I have like forecasted investment value and shares that I'll have, an annual yield just based off of like a typical dividend growth rate or something like that if I want to. So I guess going back to that, so you have basically all your shares, your yield on cost, all that, and then that really feeds into your portfolio allocation. So I have like my individual brokerage account, I have my individual retirement account, my YouTube money account, the money I made from YouTube, I invest that. I have some videos on that if you look in the upper right hand corner. Computer shares account, and so all that kind of feeds into this larger allocation. So you see that 38% of my money is in my 401k, and the rest is distributed through my IRA or mostly my individual brokerage account, but then I have some of my computer shares. And then this is how I break down by sector. So I generally look at everything in terms of value by sector, so total portfolio value that's invested in a particular sector. So some people might, make this try to be close to 10, percent per sector if they want to be fully diversified or something like that. And then I also look at it for income by sector, so that way I can see where I'm overvalued or over invested in particular sectors. So obviously, just looking at mine, and if you watched yesterday's video as well, you'll see that I'm way over invested in energy for sure, with about 33% of my total value, and then almost 42% of my total income coming from energy, and then real estate being about 14% of what my actual value of my total portfolio is, and then almost 20% of my income. Now, this doesn't include my 401k. That's just because my 401k is a little bit more difficult to really break out by sector. Can't really determine what individual stocks I have purchased through that. This is really cool because you can kind of split everything into individual sectors and really kind of get down deep into it. And then below the individual sectors, I have the individual stocks themselves. This kind of might be a little bit weird. So, like, for instance, I have Verizon in my Roth and my individual brokerage account, so Verizon's technically on here twice. That's just because a whole bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of other tabs on here, like drip quarterly. That means, like, if you want to calculate if you continually to reinvest dividends at a certain price and yield and how much growth and what have you, Fibonacci sequence, what have you. So this is where I keep track of my future dividends by what sort of account I have. And this kind of feeds into one of the last things, which is like the dividends I receive monthly. So this is connected to that first tab that I showed you. So for instance, it's like May, it's connected to the annual yield. So generally I have an idea as like what dividends I'll get paid by what company, so I can help kind of forecast my monthly income. And that's just basically because I have my old years in here. So if I unhide this, I have 2017 in here. If I hide that again and look, I have 2016, and I can hide that again just by grouping it. And so I have 2018 in here as well, and I also started forecasting 2019. Now, of course, this changes if I invest in something or anything like that, but it kind of gives me an idea as to what months are my higher months and what months are my lower months, in case I want to maybe distribute. So, for instance, I invest a lot into energy, so like my BP, my Royal Dutch Shell, and my Exxon. That probably gets me close to you know $200 or so in income, which I could maybe sell off and invest in something like Verizon or AT&T and help spread that income coming from here and maybe put it in the May. Or instead, I can invest in the Union Pacific and maybe pull those dividends into the first month of every quarter, like April, your July's, stuff like that. So it kind of just gives you an idea, but a lot of the stocks that I follow are energy stocks, and they always pay in the third month of every quarter. So this used to be where I kept track of the money I made on YouTube, which no longer get because I'm below 1,000 subscribers at the moment, but maybe in the future I get there. And then this is basically the summation coming from the dividend received tab. So making it a little bit simple, just looking at the actual months themselves once they're fully updated, and this kind of helps create the graphic associated with what's actually happening. And then this graphic is splitting it by quarter, just by over here summing it. I don't have it formatted very well because I generally just kind of look at everything and kind of just put it together. The graphics are what's mostly more important to me. And here's another way to look at it. This also comes from that monthly dividend sheet that I showed you with all the stocks and dividends that I get, this sheet here. So this separates it by account, so dividends by account, and this year I'm closing in at about $3,000 coming from my individual brokerage account. So you can see the increases that I've had really by account, if that really is important to you, and then all the way over here is the total value that I get in terms of total dividend income. Here is the dividend growth by year. So this was like 30,000 because I had like barely anything invested in 2013. In the last 2 years, I've increased it by about 70%. So at the moment, my goal is to really try to keep increasing by about 50% over the next couple of years. So if you think about that, it was really easy at the beginning because I didn't have a lot of invested capital. But now that I'm getting to like the $6,000 a year mark, 50% for next year in 2019 is going to mean $9,000. So that's a lot of invested capital. So it will probably drag down as time goes on, but the more I can change this dividend income and increase that in the early times, the easier it's going to be to get an increase throughout time. So here's the dividend by month. This is just really just looking at the total forecasted value that I plan on getting for the year. This is attached to this dividend received tab, and then it really just divides it by 12, so you can kind of get an estimate as to what the dividends per month are. So you can see for 2019, I'm almost at $500 a month, or $6,000 for the year. So, and I still have all of 2018 to add capital to that as well. And that's basically the spreadsheet. I think if you guys have any suggestions, I guess some of the other things that I have within here. So I showed about what type of portfolios I have in here, my shareholder services, some of my account values, me trying to estimate what my 401k makes, but obviously it's very difficult to determine that. And then here is just like an estimate, like with my 401k, without my 401k, my average portfolio yield. With my average portfolio yield, how can I make $1 million a year in passive income? I need like $23 million just based off this 4% dividend yield. And then here's my future dividends if I kind of forecast out in 35 years from now. This doesn't take into account inflation, so I would assume that this decreases by a significant amount. So 35 years at 2% odd, this value probably decreases by a very significant amount. So keep that in mind, that this is probably maybe going to actually, in terms of buying power, divide by half or what have you. So interesting spreadsheet that I've made. Let's see if there's any other things in here. Oh, this is like a potential retirement calculator where I'm trying to say, like, okay, well, how much expenses do I need? I don't mess with that too often. I haven't messed with this drip things too often, so I should probably move them towards the back of the queue in terms of tabs and start consolidating some of these things. But yeah, obviously you can have a lot of fun with this drip calculator, dividend reinvestment plan calculator, especially if you do like monthly dividends, and you start off at like 1,000 shares and whatnot. Like for my C-drill partners, if I just increase it 10% a year, it just shows ridiculous numbers if you continue at the pace that it is. But who knows? I mean, there's always dividend cuts and stuff like that. So that's really what I do and keep track of my portfolio. So really curious what you guys think about the spreadsheet that I make or that I made. If you have any suggestions as to other things I should track, or if there's other ways I should split my data, I'd be more than happy. As you can probably tell, I'm an engineer by education, so I like splitting a lot of data and understanding a lot of data. I think one of the things that I've seen other people do that I don't do very well is really look at this, the technical aspect of things. So I don't do that all too much at the moment. Can't tell you the last time I updated this, and I wish this was up to date as well, but I don't really update the date. I always forget to do that, but this is pretty recent. But yeah, this part of the spreadsheet I don't own very or renew very much. But one thing I do like to keep track of as well is the outstanding shares of the company and what percentage I own of the company, which I think is pretty cool. But once again, not really important. And then also my potential future yield on cost as well. But yeah, so one thing that I think I recognize that I need to do better in the future is maybe look more at the technical side, but I always go back and forth between buy and hold or sell. More of like a Jim Cramer mindset where it's like take your money and run, invest in something that you see has a lot of value at the moment, and once you see it runs up in value, sell it. I generally speaking just hold on to my stocks and really only sell something if it's kind of a dud. For instance, like Suncor Energy or something like that. I'm kind of just hanging out. But I also am holding on to some pretty big losses as well. Like my Chesapeake's on a pretty big loss. My Kinder Morgan, my Seadrill partners. So my Icon Enterprises. They're all pretty big losses. But I also have some pretty moderate wins at the moment as well. So like my Square is a pretty big win. All these real estate investment trusts are pretty big wins as well. You can see I've already acquired like 18 shares or so just in dividend reinvestment, which is really cool. But anyway, that's really the spreadsheet. Like I said, I'll probably make a shared drive for it so you guys can download it and use to your advantage. So anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if there's anything that you want to see added to the spreadsheet. And of course, if you have any video comments or suggestions for videos that you'd like to see, feel free to leave me a note. And like I said, this was a subscriber question and a request for a video, so I'm doing it. So feel free. Don't think just because you want to see something that I won't. I'm not interested in doing it and showing it. I'm actually really interested in what you guys want to see because a lot of people don't really share their finances like this, and I feel like they always talk in high levels, but they don't really show you guys the information. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.